Citizens in Taiwan wake up to a terrifying earthquake. Rescue crews are still working on the scene.
The cost of your breakfast may be on the rise. The nation's largest egg producer has found bird flu in their chickens.
Skaters at UNT are getting their boards decorated right here at the Union. I'll tell you how you can get yours done too later in the show.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Mauricio Ortiz-Segura.
And I'm Chanel Young. Just this morning, eastern Taiwan was hit by a deadly 7.4 magnitude earthquake, flattening buildings, trapping residents, and triggering mountain slides.
As of right now, at least 9 people have been killed and 963 injured. Because the island sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, its fault lines make it prone to earthquakes. In fact, this is the 7th major earthquake to hit Taiwan in the last 50 years. With residents vulnerably waiting for lingering aftershocks from this disaster, CNN's Laura Aguirre has the full update.
The early morning commute in Hualien County, Taiwan, shaken to a halt as a massive 7.4 magnitude earthquake rocked the island's eastern coast. This television studio and many buildings in the epicenter, a county of over 300,000 people, were left damaged or destroyed. Collapsing structures trapped people inside. Some were pulled to safety quickly, while frantic search and rescue efforts got underway to find others still known to be in the rubble or who were unaccounted for. Taiwan's National Fire Agency says some of the trapped are foreign nationals, as this mountainous region is popular with tourists, especially hikers. Several dozen people, they add, are believed trapped in collapsed or blocked highway tunnels, with the threat of continued landslides looming. The U.S. Geological Survey recorded about 30 aftershocks greater than 4.0 magnitude in the hours after the initial quake and warns more could happen in the days ahead. As of early Wednesday, all but one hospital across Taipei City, the island's capital just over 90 miles away, were operating normally, despite suffering varying degrees of structural damage, say local officials. The number of injured estimated at over 900 people and could climb, as may the death toll. President Joe Biden is monitoring the rescue and recovery efforts, confirmed a National Security Council rep, and the U.S. is standing by to offer assistance. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
If you're anything like me, you probably think today's weather is just too chilly to handle. After walking to the studio with all of that wind, I am seriously hoping it gets warmer. Hopefully our weather anchor Kayla Bumpus could give me some good news. What do you think, Kayla?
Good evening, North Texas. As you can see, it is a beautiful day, which I haven't been able to say in a long time. Right now, it is 70 degrees Fahrenheit, feeling the same with wind speeds pretty high at 15 miles per hour. We're going to see clear skies, lots of sun. Tonight, it's going to cool down to 55 degrees Fahrenheit with wind speeds slowing down to 3 miles per hour and more clear skies. Tomorrow, we will get to enjoy some more sun with 66 and wind speeds of 5 miles per hour. That's all I have for now. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kayla. The fate of Texas Senate Bill 4, that controversial immigration law, is once again in the hands of the courts. That's the law giving the police the authority to arrest somebody they suspect of being an illegal immigrant. Today, a federal appeals court heard arguments from Texas and the U.S. government about whether this law should continue to be blocked. The same group of judges ruled last week to keep the law on hold until the constitutionality of SB 4 could be determined. The debate is whether the Texas law makes immigration decisions. The U.S. Constitution gives that authority to the federal government. There is no word tonight when the federal appeals court will make their decision. Till then, SB 4 remains on hold. The families who lost loved ones in the Robb Elementary School shooting in Uvalde, Texas are fed up. The families want the Uvalde City Council to reject a city commission report that clears the officers who responded to the shooting clear of wrongdoing. But unrest continues in Uvalde after the sudden resignation of Mayor Cody Smith.
Just an ongoing one thing after another.
Uvalde parents say it's the same story every time.
Y'all keep saying, oh, give us time, give us time. You've had 2 years.
The Uvalde City Council was supposed to bring its contested investigation into the Robb Elementary School shooting up for a vote to accept or reject the investigation. That didn't happen. Instead, newly elected Mayor Cody Smith announced his resignation over health issues.
Within the last 2 weeks, we've had our police chief resign, and now our mayor has resigned.
The families do not have the ability to just simply check out and resign and go home and heal. It's forever going to be a void. Mr. Smith, we wish him the best, but unfortunately, not everybody has that same ability.
Families want the city council to dismiss the city-funded report clearing officers of wrongdoing.
We see who's mayor pro tem now. His nephew is one of the constables that we have talked about, and you think he's going to give us a fair shake after we've been dogging on his nephew that wouldn't go in the damn classrooms?
We asked Mayor Pro Tem Everardo Zamora when this investigation will be voted on.
It's going to be up to the lawyers. Thank you.
Leaving grieving families frustrated again.
You don't work for the attorney. You don't work for the city. You work for the people that put you in that position.
The families are most concerned with how the mayor's resignation could prolong investigation into Uvalde Police Department.
Thanks, Mauricio. When we come back, we're taking a look at a leading research facility coming to UNT and a $1 million gift coming to the city of Denton. Stick around for more.
Ever happened to you?
My bike! My bike is gone!
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike lock today.
The University of North Texas is revolutionizing transportation and propelling research to new heights. Literally. ntTV's Chris Goodwin tells us more.
Thanks, Janelle. I'm here at Discovery Park where UNT is soaring to new heights with the opening of their latest UNT Advanced Air Mobility Test Facility. This facility is a collaboration between the College of Business and the College of Engineering and is funded by the Jim McNabb Institute of Logistics Research as well as the Division of Research and Innovation. This facility is the first of its kind in Texas, with being 120 feet long, 300 feet wide, as well as 80 feet tall. That's pretty large. The research here will focus on unmanned aerial vehicles as well as automated cars and how they can best be integrated into everyday society. This isn't UNT's first introduction into drone travel though. The school has already partnered with government agencies and companies to assist with testing that will best follow regulations on automated vehicles. The UAM will be able to be open to faculty, students, as well as outside companies to come conduct research and testing. With the opening of this facility, researchers now hope to change the way people get from place to place using drones in healthcare, postal delivery, and much more. That's all I have for you guys. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Chris. I'll have to be sure to check out that new facility after next week because the DFW area will be a popular tourist attraction leading up to the solar eclipse. Millions of Americans are expected to cause chaos on the roads next Monday as they head to areas in the route of the solar eclipse totality. CNN reporter Jen Sullivan has some safety tips and warnings for travelers on April 8th.
It's a rare event, a total solar eclipse, and millions of Americans are expected to travel to see the awe-inspiring sight on April 8th. But that means more drivers on the roads and more passengers at airports.
You really need to plan ahead and be safe.
Communities from Mexico up to Canada are in the path of totality, meaning the moon will completely cover the sun, creating total darkness during daylight. Some areas like Western New York are expecting 1 million visitors. Elizabeth Carey with AAA has several tips for drivers, like navigating the old-fashioned way with a map, especially if you're traveling in less populated areas.
In a very rural area, you're talking about wilderness with no cell service.
AAA also recommends drivers don't try and watch the eclipse while driving. Have your headlights on. Don't wear your eclipse glasses while driving, and watch out for animals.
It could trigger wildlife to be out and about.
And if you're flying, the FAA is warning travelers to expect long lines and possible delays at airports. Monday's eclipse falls during the busy spring break travel season. The FAA says they're expecting more than 46,000 flights the day after the eclipse. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
While people may pause their Monday commute to see the eclipse, NASA scientists will already be stationed and ready to record history. This eclipse presents a rare opportunity to provide scientists to record new data in ways they have never before. Our Assistant News Director Avery Callan spoke to NASA scientist Noah Petro about one of these projects.
I have heard that eclipses are a special type of transit. How are you guys using this kind of transit to explore other planets?
Yeah, transits are fancy scientists speak for when one object passes between the Earth and something else. So whether it's the moon passing between the Earth and the sun, or a transit of an exoplanet around a different star in a different solar system, looking at how one object passes between two other objects allows us to understand the dynamics of those environments, whether or not those planets and other solar systems have atmospheres, how big they are. And so we use transits, we use eclipses to understand really a number of different properties of planetary objects in our own solar system, as well as those across the universe.
Now, Chanel, be honest, how excited are you for that solar eclipse?
I've got to say, I'm pretty excited. I mean, it doesn't come for another couple of decades.
I know. I just really hope the weather is fine so that we can see it in all its glory, you know? But to make sure of that, why don't we go with our weather anchor, Kayla Bumpus, who will give us our full weather report. Kayla?
Thanks, you guys. I know it's been spring for a few weeks now, but it's finally starting to feel like it. Right now in Denton, it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit, feeling similar around the area. Graham, 71, Stephenville, 72, Paris, Texas, a little bit cooler at 66, Sherman, 67, in Decatur, it's 69. Across the state, we're seeing similar temperatures. It's definitely finally beginning to warm up. In Austin, it's 80 degrees. In Houston, it's 77. In Shreveport, it's 69. Oklahoma City, it's 65. Let's take a look at this week's forecast. Thursday, we will get to enjoy some of that beautiful sun, like I said earlier, a high of 80 and a low of 51. Friday, we will get to see some of that sun, a high of 83, a low of 59. Saturday, we will see lots of wind, a high of 77, a low of 53. Sunday, we'll get to enjoy that sun again with a high of 78 and a low of 52. Monday, we will see lots of clouds, but that is also the day of the eclipse, so we'll definitely be sure to look up at the sky. A high of 78 and a low of 60. Tuesday, there is a chance of thunderstorms at 78% with a high of 71 and a low of 58. Wednesday, there is a continued chance for a thunderstorm at 60% with a high of 70 and a low of 51. That's all I have for you guys. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kayla. If you're used to eggs, toast, and bacon for breakfast in the morning, you may want to settle for just bacon and toast. The nation's #1 producer and distributor of fresh eggs, Cal-Maine Foods, has stopped production at their Texas facility in Palmer County after recent bird flu outbreaks have infected egg farms across the nation. Officials say the current risk to the public is minimal, as the flu cannot be transmitted through safely handled and properly cooked eggs. But the egg prices here in Texas will be affected. Egg prices have been on the rise for some time now, and with the current outbreaks, Texans should expect the prices to rise even higher.
But our favorite breakfast isn't the only thing that's going up in price. We all love listening to music, but at what cost? If you're a Spotify listener, then it's time to brace your time for new price hikes. Price hikes. ntTV's Giancarlo tells us more about it. What's up, Giancarlo?
Thanks, Chanel. Spotify seems to be breaking hearts and leaving customers behind with their new decisions to up the prices of their subscription plans. It might be time to switch to Apple Music after these changes. Let's take a look at these shocking alterations. Coming from new Bloomberg report saying there will be an increase of prices across their subscription plans within the US and several overseas markets. Monthly subscription plans will increase by $1 across all plans and a $2 increase to family plans. And if you want even better audio quality, that may mean a price hike in certain plans later this year. As a Spotify user, it might get tougher to compete with Apple Music with price changes. Personally, it'll still be worth to keep my subscription to see my Spotify Wrap at the end of the year. That'll be all. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Giancarlo. Speaking of the arts, Denton's Fine Arts Theater has received a major score, which might give the historical space a major glow up. ntTV's Ashley Loudermill reports live at the theater. Ashley?
Thanks, Chanel. Today, the Denton's Fine Arts Theater gets a $1.6 million reservations from the city. The plans are to create a 3-story multi-use theaters for live performances, movies, and festivals. There are several grant conditions to receiving the funding towards the Fine Arts Theater. Those include improvements made in sustainable compliance with the description for the project, invest at least $5.8 million, excluding pre-development costs, for non-city sources from the development of the project, establish certificate of accomplacity, issuance of tax credits approved by the National Park Service and Texas Historical Commissions. That's all I have today. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Ashley. After the break, we'll take a look at a bubbly festival that took place here in Denton.
And even though Easter Sunday has passed us by, we are still hopping with joy in last weekend's celebrations. Don't go anywhere.
Look up here. 1, 2, 3. Mom, Dad, I got it.
You're right, Mom. I have.
One of the great things about UNT is the variety of activities available for students, especially around finals time, because I don't know about you, Mauricio, but I could always take a break from the books.
Oh, you and me both. UNT UPC hosted an event yesterday that let college students just sit back and relax in a rather unusual way. ntTV's Seen and Heard anchor Aaliyah Bordeaux has more about it. Aaliyah?
Who
didn't love playing with bubbles as a kid or even making custom soap? UNT's UPC hosted an event that allowed students to reminisce and relax as the semester comes to an end. Boba, bubbles, and even custom bath soap were in full swing during this fun event. Let's take a closer look. Who doesn't love a break from the hustle and stress of college? UNT's UPC hosts an event called Bubble Fest that provided the perfect break for students.
So this event going on today is Bubble Fest, where basically there's just different locations for bubbles, and it's kind of like a little stress reliever as we're getting a little bit closer to our finals.
From bubbles to boba to bath bombs and a fun music, students got a chance to lay back and enjoy this event.
One of my friends asked me if I wanted to go. It's my very first time ever seeing this type of event, and it's kind of calm, and I know it's like a lot of stuff is going on, like finals.
I decided to come mostly because of my friends who have been playing with bubbles as well, and also just a nice little stress reliever. I feel like I have had a bit of a rough weekend, so bubbles is just something easy and fun to take your mind off of things.
If you are interested in going to an event hosted by the Program Council, you can check out their Instagram, UNT_UPC. What a fun and relaxing time. The weather outside was even just right. That's all I have for you guys today. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Aaliyah. Have you heard the phrase, everything is bigger in Texas? Well, I bet you didn't know that that applies to our Easter egg hunts as well. Take a look at what was supposedly the biggest Easter egg hunt in Dallas. You may have had Easter egg hunts when you were a kid, but I bet you've never been to the biggest one in Dallas. At least, that's what the Hilton Anatole is claiming, and you've got to see it to believe it. With over 6,000 eggs available for children of all ages to come and hunt in a garden adorned with Easter decorations and activities, there was no shortage of festivities at the Anatole. But just what is it that makes it the biggest in Dallas?
Well, not only do we have thousands of eggs, but as you can see, we're in the sculpture park here at the Hilton Anatole, which is on multiple acres here in the heart of Dallas, which is really unique. We have all this beautiful green space, and so we've got the land, we've got the eggs, and we've got the wonderful people participating.
And participate they did. As guests piled in, there was no doubt the egg hunting competition was fierce. But when it was time for the action to start, I made sure I had the best seat in the house. There were also 4 golden eggs hidden, and if a kid was lucky enough to find one, they would win their family an overnight stay in the Hilton Anatole's family suite and other amenities. As fun as this all looks, though, it wasn't easy to set up.
Right now, I know that part of my department's out here. We got our sales marketing team promoting it through websites, different things like that, social media, as well as the AV team. There's so much more. We have a balloon artist, a face painter who we brought in as well. So there's probably, 5-6 different departments that we brought in.
All of their hard work paid off, as there were plenty of happy guests around the garden.
They're enjoying, they're having fun, they're shouting, having fun, yeah.
It's been very fun. She's had a lot of fun. She really enjoyed the egg hunt.
Looks like Easter at the Hilton Anatole was a hopping good time. And who knows, it might be even bigger next year. The Hilton Anatole is also having an eclipse event this upcoming Monday, April 8th, so make sure to check them out if you want to find a way to watch that once-in-a-lifetime event.
All right, Mauricio, I know you're a huge Mavs fan, so how are you feeling about their last night's game?
Well, it probably could have gone a little better, but, I'm not trying to spoil the results. That's our sports anchor, Drew Maurer's job. How about it, Drew?
Yeah, that's right, guys. Bad news for us Mavs fans last night, but luckily I've got some good news for Houston Texans fans after the break.
My bike is gone.
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike lock today.
Now, before we jump into our sports headlines of the day, our live reporter Chris Cordova has some good news for those of you who skate around campus. Chris, what do you got?
Because of all the trouble we gave him. Bro, I'm driving a car into the... I'm skating.
Sorry about the technical difficulties. We'll have to hear from Chris later. Well, the Mavericks played last night, and they did not, unfortunately, have that good of a success. But first, we're going to talk about some Houston Texans news today. Jerry Jones, you know, he said this offseason they're going all in. Well, he was talking about the wrong Texas team. The Houston Texans pulled off acquisition of wide receiver Stephon Diggs, giving up a 2025 second-round pick to bring Diggs over, as well as 2 late-round picks they're acquiring. The pick Houston gave up for Diggs was one that they acquired from Minnesota in early March. Diggs joins an already star-studded cast in Houston, and the Texans are looking like a team to watch in the AFC. Well, just as Buffalo Bills fans were heartbroken today after the departure of Stephon Diggs, as I said, Mavs fans, we were heartbroken last night after the loss. The Dallas Mavericks took on the Warriors in Golden State last night, riding their 7-game winning streak. And after the Warriors jumped out to a big lead, they never really looked back. Luka and the Mavericks came close a few times throughout the game and in the early second half, but Klay Thompson was able to hit some clutch free throws in crucial time as the Mavericks fell with a score of 104-100. The Mavericks play a back-to-back as this week closes. They'll be taking on the Hawks tomorrow night and the Warriors once again, this time on home court. Well, speaking of home territory, the UNT softball team is facing number 7 ranked Oklahoma State right now as we speak at Lovelace Stadium. The Mean Green sit at a record of 21-13 right now atop the American Athletic Conference, and a win here could seriously strike some fear in the hearts of opponents down the line this season. Tonight's match is the 30th meeting of all time between the two programs, and the first since UNT pulled the upset over the Cowgirls last May. Your Mean Green currently are tied and knotted up at 0 with the Cowgirls, and we're going to keep fighting for a swift victory tonight. That's all I have for sports. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Drew. And speaking of a swift victory, Taylor Swift has officially made the Forbes billionaires list with an estimated net worth of $1.1 billion. The magazine ranks Swift at 2,545 on its list. Her record-breaking Eras tour propelled her to billionaire status and is the first to get there solely by songwriting and performing.
You know, as a huge Taylor Swift fan, I've got to say I've totally contributed to her success over every single era.
Okay.
Do you consider yourself a Swiftie?
I got to be honest with you, Chanel. I know plenty of her songs and could dominate at T-Swizzle Karaoke.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, we might have to see that after the show. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching ntTV Nightly News.
And join us again tomorrow at noon and tomorrow evening at 6 here on North Texas Television.